Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Astara and I'm an angelic communicator and clairvoyant. And I've been talking a lot about twin flames recently, so let's do another one. And this is something that I don't know if anyone's mentioned, but I definitely notice it. And when I've been hanging out with other twin flame, lovely divine feminines, I've noticed it happens to them as well. So this is when, and it's something really magical that happens on the twin flame journey. And I think it's a way of identifying your twin as well. This is when you are in proximity with your twin, so like in the same space, and there seems to be a glowing light around your twin and also around yourself. And this can sound really strange. So let me just break it down for you. I notice that whenever I'm in proximity of my twin, all of a sudden my face would be glowing. I mean, looking good, yes, but also like having a sort of glowing light as well. Now, I know that kind of doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but if you're on the twin flame journey, maybe you'll get what I mean. So I also have this sometimes when people comment on how I look after I've done angel readings. So there's a very high frequency in my aura, and people pick up on it and notice it. But I also notice that if I'm with another twin flame, so not necessarily my twin, but another twin flame, there seems to be an enhanced vibration in our energy fields. Now, I've always worked with lots of healers, lots of health practitioners, lots of clairvoyants, and this hasn't happened. So this is a new thing. This is definitely a new thing. And this is not poetic symbolism. I just want to say that here that many people have commented on it when I've been in proximity of my twin, maybe not talking to them, but people have come up to me and said, "Oh, wow, you look really great today," or "Oh, what's happening? You're glowing," or well, nice things that people say, usually women, nice things that women say. But this is definitely otherworldly because I even looked in the mirror and thought, "My God, what's happened? I look like I don't know, just had a little transformation, had a little bit of glamour." Now, I'm not using any sort of glamour in terms of spells or anything like I know a lot of people do, but that's not what I'm doing. And so there is something here where you are being illuminated. So let's explore what this means, because there's also how you're illuminated in the presence of your twin, and also how they're illuminated when they're in your presence. And I'm going to break this down for you. Now, it does have this vibe of, have you seen A Discovery of Witches? And that's a really good series. If you're into all that kind of fantasy fiction, kind of witches, werewolves, and what is it, vampires, then it is actually a really good show. And they show it there where she's dancing with her vampire, her twin, I'm guessing they're twin flames, and she begins to glow. There's like starlight all around her, and it's like her magic is coming out of her. So this is really something that we want to understand a little bit more if we can, if we're able to, because it is part of the mystery of being in the twin flame dynamic. So when twin flames come together, there can be this especially powerful connection between the energy fields. And I notice there is an amplification of a frequency between you. Now, I interpret this as your star frequency, but there's also this heightened energetic connection to do with life force energy. So it can look like you have a soft glow in your aura, or that your skin is glowing, or maybe you have some backlighting. I had a very funny chat with some friends who talked about when they met their husband, it was like the universe was glowing, like they were glowing, and the universe was like pointing a sign going, "This is the one, this is the one." And now they're married. They're not twins, but they told me the story, and it made me kind of more hopeful that maybe this is happening to other people. Now, this has never happened to me before. So this is definitely a new experience that's coming out of this journey. So just know that when you're in proximity with them, your frequency amplifies between you, and because you're the same frequency and it's usually a star frequency, a higher vibration, you will begin to almost like emit light. And this could become perceptible to the human eye, or maybe even the inner sight. I don't know. I haven't gone around and asked people, do you notice that? Do you notice that? Usually people come and give feedback like, oh, you're glowing, or what have you been doing? Or your aura's like really sparkly, or you're really sparkly. It can look like you are actually radiating light. And I will do another video on the energy field you create with your twin and what happens with that in that, because I found that particularly fascinating as well. So very often this glow can appear, and it's also a sign of presence. And I'm going to say here this little experience I had where I went to an event near where I live, and I was with another person on the twin flame journey, not my twin, but another divine feminine. And it was very early on in the process. And I didn't know that my twin would be there. I didn't know, I had no idea. Even at that stage, I was questioning whether they were my twin. And we had a very funny day because we turned up and we were given like a food ticket with like 8-8 on. Like people kept mentioning twins. It was the weirdest day ever. I think we were parked in parking space number 8, and it all just went on like that the whole day. And my friend, who had been on the journey for quite a long time by then, was pointing it out to me because I was pretty clueless. I was like, really, really? Even though I'm used to the otherworldly, maybe I wasn't used to it really coming into my physical world in quite the same way. Anyway, we'd settled down, we have food. I look up on the hill, and I don't even know why I'm looking up on the hill, but I see my twin standing up, not doing very much, chatting with his friend and whoever is with. And I literally saw this golden glow around him. And behind him, I saw the god Apollo. Now, I didn't know it was Apollo. I had to ask, who are you? And it was like Apollo, the sun god, was standing behind him with literally lighting him up. This is the other thing I've noticed, is that there can be a presence of a goddess or an angel or maybe a god, like I experienced Apollo. And this can be a guide from your soul lineage as well, like a star guide. And often they will come in as a being and light up your energy field, your frequency, to give you an idea that this person is special, that this person is unique, and to pay attention. So if you are able to, and I know a lot of divine feminines that I work with have the amazing abilities to do with claircognizance and clairvoyance and clairaudience. So I know that some of you can identify beings. So if you kind of identify it, you can also start working with that being as a spirit guide, a being that has been very helpful in your twin flame dynamic. And I also noticed when I started working with Apollo, and you'll notice that I then had this particular necklace come into my life, which is Apollo, and I've been working with him ever since. I've never really worked with a god before. I've always worked with goddesses. I'm a priestess to the goddess. I'm dedicated to the divine feminine. There was a process for me to beginning to work with this god, and it was interesting because it was helping me integrate my masculine energy and also bring in the power of solar energy and illumination. So I have to say, I've never looked up Apollo. I'm not very interested in reading stories about Apollo. I'm much more interested in making a connection with the being and making a judgment for myself about what they're bringing, particularly in this timeline for me. And I notice that when I'm working with some twin flames, these beings do come forward, different beings for each one, linking to a past life you might have shared with your twin in a sacred temple or a mystery tradition or a time in history, a time in your timeline, your Akashic record, where you've actually worked with this being. And it's interesting that they come back into this life and are helping you. I don't even know if many people are talking about this on about twin flames, but if they are, if you are having this experience, just write it in the comments. I'd love to know if you're also connecting with these beings as well. Presence of these beings is not a random thing. It's really a benevolent force that's really assisting your connection and activating your memory and holding your field in safety. And I really liked the presence of Apollo because it had this solar force, this solar energy. But I don't think I will ever forget looking up on the hill. It was like Apollo reborn, this my twin, this man, just standing on the hill, being lit up. I mean, it was the most crazy, almost psychedelic experience that I've ever had. and one that I couldn't ignore. And I know that my guides were working with me in that way because I see so many things all the time. They really wanted to say this person is significant. And it happened to be at a time where I was trying to work with the idea about twin flames and trying to understand it. And it was like giving me a real confirmation. And it still took me time to accept it after that. What you're witnessing in these moments is often an activation of what I would call your star energy, but also the Christ light in your frequency. And we know that twin flames, I believe, are all about activating your divine template, which does bring the solar energy and forces through your being. It's a very highly sacred state to be in because you're working with a lot of life force. It's actually a very healing energy. And I'm going to just answer that doorbell and then I'll come back and finish. So that's what happens. You answer your doorbell, and my friend was there, and we ended up having a chat, going for dinner, going for dinner, having a big old chinwag about her life and her business, and a little bit of coaching, I guess, going on. And now I'm back in my house, and I thought I'd finish this video. Thought that would be good. So we were talking about how your energy field gets really lit up when you're with your twin flame, when you're in their proximity. And this is like a glow that appears when you're in their presence, and they might glow as well. So when you're witnessing these glowing moments, it's often an activation of what some would call this kind of living energy in your body, the Christ light. And I'm not religious, I just want to say that, but I see Christ energy as this solar energy, this life force energy, and it's shown as like a unified consciousness that's coming through and bringing life in everything around you and in yourself. And somehow in the twin flame dynamic, there's an even stronger presence of this energy that appears. At the same time as this kind of energy, I also see that the star frequency gets really strong, and this is your soul's higher vibration. And it's often in with your twin, it's the star frequency that really is amplified because you're from the same place. You're bringing to earth this unique vibration, and it's lighting up as your soul frequency. This particular vibration, particularly twins, are carrying very similar energy resonances. And this also creates like a healing field, which is not only for you, but also for anybody else that comes into contact with it. And I will do another video about that because you'll notice something very special that happens when you and your twin come together and how other people respond to that unified field. This is a very powerful sign that the illumination happening between you and your twin is showing you that this is a twin flame connection. Now, even though my friends said it happened to them and they're definitely soulmates and not twin flames, it's kind of interesting to know that this is a thing. When this happens, just know that in that heightened energy state of you coming together, the old wounds are actually healing and dissolving, and your higher guidance is very active because the frequency is very high. And I often see with the twins is that you'll get downloads about your higher mission together, and you'll often begin to feel and experience this light as a living force moving through you, also attracting you to your twin. It's a really good way of like, oh my goodness, seeing them. But you'll also notice it can trigger the unworthiness wound, like, oh, that person's so bright, I can't go near them, like they're too bright to even speak to. And so that can also be something that during the phases of separation and connection, reconnection, reunion, you're often trying to mitigate that and deal with the light, like be able to receive the light from your twin and them from you. So beautiful, beloved souls, this video is coming to an end, and I want to say that the twin flame journey is a path of light. And it's not always easy, is it? But it always leads you home and it's taking you to your true self. Notice if you're seeing those colours, what those colours are as well, because what I was seeing around my twin, I'm not going to say the colours, but I can say to you that they were so amazing. It was like looking into my own soul, looking into something that was just so beautiful and so healing for me personally. And that is what you're experiencing when you're with your twin. So this is a sacred sign, and know that you're being guided and healed and prepared to create your highest timeline with this energy resonance and this light when you come together. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for putting up with my slight excursion and coming back again. If this message resonated with you, then subscribe and join me on the next video. And you might even want to share your experiences below. And also, if you want to, I'm doing a twin flame weekly meditation, like a reset, which helps to reset your energy field. I'm doing it every week on a Monday. And this will be really good, particularly for divine feminines that have a reset and also to raise the vibration in the collective. And I also do twin flame workshops and twin flame clarity sessions and Akashic record sessions. Go to my Instagram or my website and my link tree, and you'll find all the information you need to know about that. And lots of love to you. And I can't wait to hear and read about all your stories with your twin.